Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, guys, as you can see, this was uploaded today by the AFP News Agency, the 5th of April 2017. Now, we'll come back to that in a second, but I just want to take you to this vlog. This vlog was uploaded by me on the 25th of October, 5 months ago, and we discussed and explored the possibility of them staging. In fact, I was pretty certain that they're going to stage, while staging this false extraterrestrial contact, they also intend to connect it with the pyramids in Egypt, which will play a central role in this false extraterrestrial contact that they're looking to stage during the exit of An-Najm al-Thaqib, the star system. And in addition to that, they'll also connect it with all these other global pyramids that have been discovered everywhere, whether that would be in South America, in Antarctica, and other locations. And all of them, they'll connect it to these extraterrestrial beings having created them with their advanced technology. And again, those very same extraterrestrial beings having also created mankind insan by hybridizing the gene of the Homo erectus and splicing it with their own DNA. And then that will lend itself into the Antichrist, the Dajjal, Lanatullahi alayhi, revealing himself in Esfahan and also claiming extraterrestrial origin. This is my personal contention, and I firmly believe in it. Since my journey from 2007 to now, and studying the phenomena of An-Najm al-Thaqib and the star system, I've come to very, very convincingly believe that this is exactly what the shayateen in Ins and Jinn are scheming. Okay, the satanic elite are scheming. Is a false extraterrestrial contact, and and linking it again to the Sumerian sky gods as well. Now, I mentioned this, I uploaded this vlog for those of you who've been abreast with everything that's been uploaded onto the channel incrementally. We discussed how I understood that the recent discovery about these well, here you go. It's been posted today again, and I told you incrementally they're going to slowly but surely introduce the Ummah to this new discovery, and this new discovery is going to have somehow it's going to be connected to ETs, extraterrestrials. Okay, and what they found is certain chambers. Apparently, there's these particulates called muons that enter the Earth's atmosphere at the speed of light, and those muons then move through cavities, and they can measure and screen and scan these pyramids for these cavities by the movement of these muons and the particulates when they enter and move around in these cavities. And through that they're allowed to, they then can scan those particular chambers. The Egyptian cultural minister, I understand, had touted this to be one of the greatest discoveries, in fact, the greatest discovery of the world. And again, like my position always has been, that they will connect it, and they're all in it together, as I understand it. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide and protect the Ummah and protect us from these false claims. You know, that the Ummah is being really psychologically prepared for this and conditioned for this. And our beloved ulama ikram really, really need to get to grips with what's happening and how it's happening. You know, we need to have this foresight and this basira. It's very, very unfortunate that it's happening, and we've done very little in way of addressing the possibilities of this narrative, which is gaining momentum. It seems like we're on the fence. We're sat on the fence and just curious enough to be interested, subhanallah, but very little has been done. And this is an amana, you know, and I really hope that I'm absolutely 101% wrong. Because if I am right, then there's some serious consideration for those who have the virasa, who are the inheritors of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his deen and the ilm and the knowledge that he's passed on, and it's through the nur of Quran and Sunnah and deen We have to look at the world holistically and objectively, and we can't just shelter ourselves from these realities, subhanAllah. I'm really sorry if I'm speaking out of turn. It's just very, if you were in my shoes, you find this whole situation very frustrating. And I've always mentioned and I've always maintained that I've tried to divorce all of this from my dreams and everything else. And I'm actually putting forward real evidence and data for our beloved ulama ikram to consider. Anyway, let's just watch this and you'll see exactly where this narrative is going. This was published again on the 5th of April today.
Egyptologists are working alongside physicists and engineers to try to solve the secrets of the pharaohs. Using non-invasive exploration techniques which won't damage the monuments, teams of researchers began scanning Egypt's pyramids in October 2015. They're focusing on the bent and red pyramids at Dashur together with Khufu, also known as the Great Pyramid, and Khafra, built on the Giza Plateau 4,500 years ago. Using infrared thermography, researchers hope to shed light on how exactly the pyramids were built and search for hidden rooms and corridors. This technique can measure heat absorbed or emitted by a body and create a thermal map of sites. Red marks hot zones exposed to the sun. In blue, the cold spots, which could signal a draft where air is getting in, such as a corridor or secret chambers. Thermal anomalies indicating differences of up to 6 degrees have been detected on the Khufu pyramid. Researchers can also radiograph the pyramids using cosmic particles known as muons, heavy particles which rain down on Earth at the speed of light. By strategically placing sensors, any voids which allow the particles to penetrate can be detected, as well as dense zones which deflect or absorb particles. Scientists use chemical emulsions, delicate films which need to be developed in a laboratory, or electric scintillators which produce an image with greater contrasts in real time. Telescopes using muon radiography have detected hidden cavities in the Great Pyramid of Giza. In the Valley of the Kings is Tutankhamun's tomb, which fascinates. Discovered in 1922 with its treasure still intact after 3,000 years, it could also contain 2 hidden chambers and possibly even the mummy of Queen Nefertiti, according to Egyptologist Nicholas Reeves. After initial infrared scans indicated the presence of cavities and possible organic materials, several teams carried out further tests on the tomb walls in 2015 and 2016. But uncertainty over the findings means that more thorough analysis is needed before any invasive exploration can be carried out.
Okay, now I'll just quickly take you to the vlog that I uploaded 5 months ago, which discusses how this whole thing is going to slowly and incrementally open up the dialogue of A, this discovery, and then B, connecting it to these false extraterrestrial beings, and then for the Dajjal, Lanatullah alayhi, the Antichrist, to then basically reveal himself in Isfahan in Iran. And I also believe that this is going to be whilst they have actually nuked Iran, that he will reveal himself there in the ashes of what will at the time be the Third World War, and will be in the throngs of it at that time, during that time. So I mean, as I've always maintained throughout what's been outlined in the science PDF as well as what's been archived on the channel, is that the Shaitanic elite are looking to visit upon the Ummah a huge amount of suffering, psychological and physical and mental trauma. And during this time, which will be when mankind are at their most vulnerable, is introduce the Antichrist, right? And the solution to the world's pain and suffering. And all of this has been planned around this system, and Najm al coming in. My position has been, and it will be, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, but I think this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making ishara towards in the surah At-Tariq, in the last final verses, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that they plan. There's a lot of scheming and planning going on. It's multifaceted and it's been going on for a millennia, but it's taken speed and momentum in the last century. And this includes all of the great and smaller things that you've been seeing happening world over, including 9/11, and then the foreign policies that have followed that, and then the dismantling of Asham and the Middle East, and penetrating those countries and then running them by proxy, and then the destruction of other countries like Iraq, trying to invade Afghanistan, all of this, subhanallah, and much more, subhanallah, a lot more that we've not discussed, and many things that I've not even mentioned on the science PDF or archived on the channel for that matter, or discussed with anyone else concerning which. All of these things seem to be central to the return arrival, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best again, because my personal contention is that all of the natural disasters that have occurred and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destroyed past nations with, including the floods of Nuh alayhi salam, including Qawm Thamud and Qawm Ad, including the Qawm of Lut alayhi salam, including the 7 years of drought for Yusuf alayhi salam, including the biblical kind of events that occurred during the time of Musa alayhi salam. All of this, I think, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the star system of An-Najm al-Thaqib during its return orbit back to its barycenter with our sun, and it's affected the Earth differently. However, subject to the discretion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, subject to the discretion of God, however Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saw it appropriate and fit, accordingly it's impacted and affected Earth seismically and climatically, subhanallah. This is my position, and that system has again returned, and it's the very same system that I believe is going to be the asbab to cause the 3 great landslides, the sun most likely going dark for 3 days, Dukkan, and some other, i.e. the poles flipping, causing the Arabian Peninsula to become greener, and some other, maybe even very possibly the fire that will occur in Yemen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. I think that this system, this star system, An-Najm al-Thaqib, is central to it, and the asbab for it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has utilized in order to bring about the destruction of these nations, or His Jalla Jalaluhu's Amr on the Ummah, on humanity on earth, subhanallah. Anyway, again, so I think that they've been staging, very well aware, Iblis Lanatullahi alayhi, Shaitan Lanatullahi alayhi is intimately aware of this system and its return again, and this time it wants to take advantage and exploit the return of this system, because usually what's happened in the Sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been that Shaitan's handiwork has been destroyed through this system. Now, being aware on its final return again, that it has done that every time Shaitan has done his handiwork, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destroyed it, that Shaitan is now trying to exploit the opportunity of its return again to his advantage and for his gain and for his purposes and for his mission. And this time will use the very real destruction that would happen through this. And we've been told that there's going to be a lot of people who will die through this, hence why I've been telling our beloved ulama ikram, and we're seeing the incremental kind of effects, well, the very, very, very substantial effects that this system is having right now as we enter this Islamic year. It's been a record amount of earthquakes, climatic changes, tornadoes, storms, extreme cold, extreme heat, right, drought, floods, flash floods, volcanic eruptions. All of that has been a record high this Islamic year from since we've been taking records historically. It's never been recorded before. These kind of frequencies or even records. I mean, I've been sharing that with you guys on this the science distribution list, and you're all aware of it. Our beloved ulama ikram, especially who have been trying to directly engage with in this regard and draw their attention to. I understand they actually are showing considerable amount of interest and watching this, but I see very little in terms of making the Ummah aware of this and possibly putting in contingencies so that we can limit the damage on humanity, on the Ummah. At least do our part, subhanAllah. Whatever has been decreed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will certainly happen, but the Ummah, kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrajat linnas. that we've been sent for the best betterment of mankind. We're stewards. We're here for to protect, guide, to establish justice and truth, subhanallah, on earth. And it's our mission statement, right? So whether they're impacted or not, and what's written will happen or not, despite that, we can't be complacent in our mission. We have to continue, and this is what we will be judged on, subhanallah. And my plea only to our beloved ulama ikram is to consider this possibility. And I personally, from where I'm stood, I've put forward enough evidence to support and augment all the claims made in the science PDF on the channel as well, and shared enough evidence on the distribution list. And I continue to, and I won't give up. Like I said, my dreams spur me on, and they continue to give me the strength that I need to continue this mission until I guess it's I exhaust every avenue and do my part, at least, because I don't want to be questioned. Subhanallah, I certainly don't want to be put in a position that you were guided to this, and what did you do? I certainly don't want to cause any sort of panic, hence why I'm engaging our beloved ulama ikram only concerning this. It's a lesson I learned very early on. The only other individuals who basically are taking a keen interest are professionals, subhanallah, who have got a head on their shoulders, subhanallah, and are not the sort of people that you could basically lull into some sort of false narrative. At any rate, this is the vlog that I uploaded on the 5 months ago, 25th of October, and we mentioned the same kind of thing, which is going to lead on to this false extraterrestrial contact.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay, guys, as far as I know, the Egyptian pyramids and pyramids that are being discovered all over the world at the moment are going to play a pivotal role in this false extraterrestrial contact, along with ancient Babylon and the Sumerian tablets and I guess historical artifacts down there in Iraq. It's certainly what the research is pointing towards. I want you guys to take a look at this. I think they're setting the stage for a discovery which is going to allude towards sentient extraterrestrial intelligent beings. Let's see. Certainly it's a little premature, but still, I'm pretty confident that that's what's going to unfold very soon. And this is almost like they're prizing the audience for that eventuality. So it's already scripted and staged, and this is what they're doing with this particular segment. Let's take a look at this. I think it was posted a few hours ago, so it's been on the news maybe not more than 24 hours ago.
Scientists from around the world are trying to unearth the secrets of the Great Pyramids of Giza. The latest team of researchers believe that they've discovered two previously unknown cavities within the Khufu pyramid using technology called scan pyramid.
This is all part of this very carefully manufactured and sculpted psyop on the Ummah, and this is just one aspect of it, which basically will lend itself to this false claim of extraterrestrial beings having visited Earth, having created megalithic monuments, and having run civilizations, historical civilizations, and in different regions of the world.
The idea of scan pyramid is to measure the temperature. They got the modern technology. They measure the temperature of the blocks around the pyramid, and as they were doing this, on the eastern side of the pyramid, they discovered 4 blocks that totally have a different degrees. It's 5 degrees less. So, of course, it got the interest of everyone. First of all, it's on the eastern side. Second, it indicates that there might be over here a tunnel, a passage, a corridor, an entrance.
The discovery has excited archaeologists and historians around the world, but Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities has warned them not to get carried away.
It's still the research phase. Using X-ray-like thermal radars, they have detected small cavities behind the eastern wall of the pyramid. We are continuing our research, but it's too early to jump into conclusions.
The Scan Pyramids project was unveiled earlier this year. It uses various technologies, including thermography and 3D simulation, to scan the structure. The Khufu pyramid was built in around 2560 BC as a tomb for the Egyptian pharaoh Khufu. Experts say this breakthrough could open the door for major discoveries.
If we find a passage or a corridor that leads probably to halls or rooms, possible treasure rooms, a possible burial chamber, possible new lane of finding things, we're very close to finding something, and it will rock the world.
Subhanallah. Okay, did you hear that? It's very, very carefully scripted. Anything to do with and related to ancient Egypt or the pyramids, I am very suspect about, simply because Freemasonry gleaned the doctrine, religious doctrine, from ancient Egypt, as well as Sumeria and other aspects of occult religions. And the pyramids I've always been very suspect about in relation to how they intend to use them. And this I picked up from, again, patterns along the way that seem to really point towards this connection with false extraterrestrial beings. And there you have it. You've got the, I guess, the archaeologists priming the audiences for a huge discovery. And look, if I was a betting man, I'd certainly put my money on the fact that, lo and behold, sooner the discovery is going to be something that's going to point towards extraterrestrial life.
The government says it will need at least another year to gather more data to analyze the information, but historians hope it could unravel yet another mystery hidden in the Great Pyramids of Giza.
Okay guys, that was a short one. Keep your eyes peeled on it. Let's see what happens as time unfolds. Jazakallahu khairan wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.